The freight train arrived at the station. David is given the task to unload the train and group them based on the materials in the containers. He is also handed with a blueprint of the containers pointing which container carries what material. David looks at the blueprint and gets to know that container 0, 3 and 7 contains computer accessories, containers 5 and 1 contains groceries, containers 2 and 6 contains ammunition, and container 4 contains gold ornaments. David now knows that there are 4 types of materials in 8 containers and begins to unload all the containers and group them according to their materials. How did David know what materials were the containers carrying and how many containers were he supposed to unload? He was given a blueprint. This is the principle of an array. The train is the array, the number on the containers is the index, David is your code, and the man who instructed David is you. Using this analogy, let's learn what is an array. An array is a collection of items stored at a contiguous memory location. What does it mean? Suppose you want to store 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10 in the memory of your computer. You can create a variable for each of the numbers. But what if you wanted to store a million digits? Then you have to create a million of variables, which is inefficient and time consuming. Instead, you could use array. You can use any language to follow along until you know the basics of that language, but I will be using C for this demonstration. The syntax for writing an array is int arr square brackets is equal to curly braces the variables you want to store or the elements you want to store, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, where int represents the data type stored in the array and arr is any name for the array, and between the curly braces we store the values we want to store. Now the digits are all stored in the memory. But how can we retrieve the digits back? All the digits have index number which starts from 0 until size of array minus 1. Here index number of 2 is 0, 4 is 1, 6 is 2, 8 is 3 and 10 is 4. So to retrieve a digit from the array, we can use the index number, and the code is arr of square brackets and the index number of the digits you want to retrieve. Let's look at some examples. To print all the elements in the array using the index number, we can use arr, the name of the array, and the square brackets. In that square brackets we can use the index number of the element you want to retrieve back. Here I have printed all the elements, that is from arr 0 starts from 2 until arr of 4, that is it prints 10. Here you can see the output value which proves the statement. If you want to initialize the array and then want to declare it, the code is int arr of square brackets and the number of elements you want to store in that array. Let's assume it is 10. Here we specified how many digits the array we have to store, that is 10. Now to declare the array you can use arr square brackets and the index number where the element has to be stored. For example, arr square brackets index number of 0 is equal to 1, which means at the index number of 0, 1 is stored. Similarly, arr of square brackets of 1 is equal to 2, meaning at the index number of 1, 2 is stored, and you can continue it until arr of 9, because the array we initialized can store up to 10 digits and the index number always starts from 0. Now you can check whether the digits are in their place or not using the print statements. If you have not declared any values to the index of the array and print out the value in the index, you would get a garbage value because you have not declared any value in that index. Now let's see how we can print all the elements in an array. First we are creating a variable called size and declaring it to be 10 because we want the size of the array to be 10. Then we are declaring the array, that is int arr. In the square brackets we have represented the size variable, then declaring all the elements into their respective index numbers. Then we are using the for loops to iterate over the array, and it prints out all the arrays in terms of their indexes. I starts from 0 until size minus 1. As you can see, I has been declared as I is equal to 0. I is less than size. If we declare I is less than or equal to size, it would go over the index number until it reaches the size. Here the size is 10. If you have reached till here, you have understood one of the foundation of data structure, arrays. Congratulations on completing the basics of array and signing out.